Here's where it gets harder, because once I open this door, there's no closing it. Once I tell you, you can't pretend it was never said. That's why I need you to listen with your whole heart, not just your ears. Because what I'm about to confess might change us in ways we can't undo. But wait, before I reveal it, let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how silence can sometimes be louder than words? That's what my silence has been. Every moment I stayed quiet, every time I bit back the truth, it was shouting inside me. And here's the part that may shock you. This truth isn't about what you've done wrong. It's about what I've hidden, what I've buried, what I've been too afraid to let you see. And once it's out, you'll understand why I stopped you in your tracks to listen. Baby, listen carefully, because this isn't something I can say twice. I've been holding back parts of myself from you, not because I wanted to lie, but because I was afraid of how you'd see me if you knew everything. Because think about it. What happens when someone finally shows you the side they've always hidden? Do you still love them? Or do you step back and question everything? That's the fear that's been eating me alive. I've watched you smile at me, trust me, believe in me, and every time a voice inside whispered, if they really knew, would they still feel the same? That question has haunted me, day after day, night after night. The truth is, I'm not as strong as I've made myself look. I've broken in ways you've never seen. I've carried scars you've never touched, and I've faced storms I've never told you about. And sometimes I wonder if you'd still see me the same if you knew the weight I hide behind my silence. But baby, here's what matters. Every single thing I've kept inside wasn't because I didn't trust you. It was because I didn't want you to feel that same heaviness I've been dragging around. I wanted to protect you, even if it meant breaking myself a little more. And now, as I stand here asking you to stop and listen, I realize I can't keep carrying this alone, because silence can turn into distance, and distance can turn into goodbye. And that's the last thing I want for us. So here it is, the start of the truth. I haven't been honest about the battles I've fought inside my own head, the doubts that claw at me, the nights I've laid awake, questioning if I'm enough for you. And baby, it's time I stop hiding it. Baby, the truth is, my silence hasn't just been about fear. It's been about shame. I've carried moments in my past that I never wanted you to see. Times when I wasn't strong, when I wasn't wise, when I wasn't the version of myself you deserve. And I thought, if I kept those parts locked away, maybe I could still be everything you believed I was. But holding it in has been slowly breaking me. Every smile I forced, every "I'm fine" I whispered, every time I pretended to be okay, it was just another layer of the mask I wore. And the longer I wore it, the more I felt like you were in love with a version of me that wasn't fully real. Because here's the question that keeps me awake. If I let you see me fully raw and unfiltered, will you still stay, or will the truth push you further than I could ever bear? That's the gamble I've been terrified to take. Baby, I've fought battles no one knows about. Nights where my chest felt so heavy I could barely breathe. Mornings where I had to drag myself out of bed. And days where I smiled while I was silently falling apart inside. And yet, you were always the one thing that made me want to hold on. Your laughter. The way your eyes light up when you look at me. And that's why I'm telling you this now. Because you deserve all of me. Not just the polished pieces, not just the brave face, but the scars, the doubts, and the cracks I've tried so hard to cover. So here's the truth, baby. I'm not perfect. I never have been. And I never will be. But I love you with a kind of love that grows even in the darkest corners of me. And maybe, just maybe, letting you see those corners is the only way we can truly move forward. Baby, listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you isn't easy for me. It's something I've buried deep, something I've avoided, something I thought I could keep locked away forever. But I can't anymore, not if I want you to truly know me, not if I want our bond to be real in every sense of the word. The truth is, the pain I've carried hasn't just been mine, it's touched you too. Even if I never said it out loud, every time I pulled away when you reached for me, every time I went quiet when you needed my words, every time I pretended I was okay, when I was drowning inside, it wasn't because of you. It was because I was scared you'd see the broken parts of me and decide you deserved someone better. And yet, here's the twist. What I feared most wasn't losing you to someone else. What I feared most was losing myself, and then realizing I'd taken you down with me. Baby, the nights I stayed awake staring at the ceiling, I wasn't just battling my thoughts, I was rehearsing conversations I never had the courage to say out loud. Words like I need you, I'm not as strong as you think, I'm scared. But the words stuck in my throat, because I was raised to believe that showing weakness meant failure, and I didn't want to fail you. But here's the reality. Every wall I built around my heart, every mask I wore, every secret I kept, it didn't protect you. It only created distance. And that's what I regret the most. Because you deserve closeness, not distance. You deserve truth, not silence. And baby, you need to know this. My love for you isn't fragile. It's the one thing that's held me together when everything else was falling apart. But sometimes, the weight of what I've carried has made me feel unworthy of the way you look at me. That light in your eyes, that trust in your voice, that hope in your smile. I didn't think I deserved it. Because here's the question haunting me right now. If I open every door, if I show you every scar, if I let you see me stripped of all pride and pretense, will you still love me the same? Or will you see someone unrecognizable, someone weaker, someone less than what you thought you had? I know this sounds heavy, but the truth is, the reason I'm telling you this now is because I can't keep living in half-truths. Every day I've hidden my pain. I've stolen a chance from us to be even closer. And baby, I don't want to steal from us anymore. I don't want to rob us of the intimacy that only honesty can give. So listen closely, because this isn't just a confession. This is me handing you the key to the parts of me I've never shown anyone. And I'm terrified, but I'm also hopeful. Hopeful that instead of running, you'll take my hand tighter. Hopeful that instead of seeing weakness, you'll see trust. Hopeful that instead of distance, you'll step even closer. Baby, I need you to know everything I've been holding back. Everything I've been hiding. It's not because I don't love you. It's because I love you so deeply. I was scared of losing you if you saw too much. But now I realize the only way to keep you, truly keep you, is to finally let you see it all, and I'm ready to do that, right now. Baby, I need you to sit with me in this moment, because what I'm about to say isn't just another piece of the story. It's the heart of it. The part I've avoided, the part that explains why I've been carrying so much weight on my chest. And the truth is, every road, every decision, every hesitation, it's all been tied to you. You see, from the very beginning, when my life felt like it was slipping out of my hands, you were the one constant I could hold on to. But here's the twist. While you were my light, I treated you like a shadow. I let my fear whisper lies that you'd eventually see through me, that you'd walk away when you realized how flawed I really was. And yet you stayed when I gave you silence instead of answers. You stayed when I pushed you away instead of pulling you close. You stayed even when I didn't deserve your patience. And baby, do you know what that did to me? It broke me in the best and worst way at the same time. Because suddenly I couldn't hide behind excuses anymore. Because here's the real question I've been avoiding. Why did you stay? Why did you keep fighting for someone who was fighting himself? Why did you keep giving love when all I gave you was half of what you deserved? Baby, the answer has haunted me because it forced me to realize something I never wanted to admit. My mother's words long ago still echo in my ears. She once told me that if I ever found someone who saw through the mess, who stayed when things weren't perfect, who loved me even when I made it hard to be loved, that person wasn't just someone. That person was everything. And now I see it. She was right. You're not just part of my story. You are my story. You're the thread that holds it together when it's falling apart. You're the reason I can stand here and admit all of this without collapsing under the shame. But baby, here's the part that scares me most. By telling you this, I'm giving you the power to decide if I'm worth staying for again. And that's the scariest place I've ever been. Because if you walk away now, I won't have anyone to blame but myself. Still, I can't hold it back anymore. Because keeping this truth inside was destroying me. And I'd rather risk losing you with honesty than keep you with lies. Baby, I need you to hear this. Everything my heart has screamed in silence. Everything my soul has tried to bury. It all comes down to this simple truth. I can't imagine my life without you. And that's why I stopped everything to tell you this. Because if I didn't, I'd spend the rest of my life wondering if you ever really knew how much you meant to me. And now you do. Listen closely, because this is the turning point, the moment where everything shifts. Baby, for so long, I thought the right thing to do was to protect you from the weight of my battles. I told myself, don't say too much. Don't burden them. Don't let them see the cracks. But now I realize the cracks are where the light comes through. And you were never here for the polished version of me. You were here for the real me. And baby, here's the real me, broken, scared, hopeful, messy, but still madly in love with you. Because I need you to answer me this. If I lay it all down right now, if I finally put every truth on the table, will you see it as weakness? Or will you see it as the proof that I've always been yours? Here's something I never told you. There were nights I sat awake, staring at my phone, my finger hovering over your name, wanting so badly to call, to hear your voice, but fear chained me in silence. I was terrified that the sound of your hello might be the last I'd ever hear, if I said the wrong words. So instead of risking that, baby, I said nothing. And my silence hurt you more than any mistake I could have made. And now I can't escape promising themselves, I'll fix it tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. Regret has stolen more love than mistakes ever did. And anger left unresolved becomes poison for the soul. Imagine waking up one day, only to realize that the last words you spoke to the person you love were sharp, cold, and heavy. You'll carry that weight far longer than you realize. That's why I'm telling you now. Don't let the sun set on anger. Don't give bitterness the space to breathe. Think about it. Anger doesn't just hurt the other person. It hurts you. It steals your peace, your rest, your joy. You may think ignoring it will make it disappear, but silence can be louder than words. What if tonight is the night your heart finally softens? What if this is the moment you decide to drop your pride and choose peace over pain? Because love isn't proven when it's easy. Love is proven when forgiveness feels impossible, but you give it anyway. Yes, Sat and chat, my message to you is simple. Don't sleep with anger in your chest. Speak, heal, soften. Because the heart you love deserves more than a silent battlefield, and so do you. Ask yourself this. Do you want to wake up tomorrow with distance between you, or do you want to wake up knowing you fought for love instead of against it? That choice it's in your hands right now. So before you close your eyes tonight, before you let anger harden into something you can't undo, remember these words: don't go to bed angry. Because sometimes tomorrow isn't promised. Listen to me carefully, because this part matters even more than the last. When you go to bed angry, you're not just closing your eyes, you're closing your heart. And the truth is, that heart is the very thing holding your love together. Think about it. Those moments before sleep are powerful. That's when your mind replays the day. If your last memory with the person you love is tension, harsh words, or silence, that's what your heart carries through the night. And by morning, that pain feels 10 times heavier. Have you ever noticed how arguments feel bigger when they're left overnight? What seemed small in the evening can turn into a mountain by sunrise. Why? Because anger multiplies in the dark, and when you ignore it, you're giving it permission to grow. But imagine this instead. Imagine reaching out before sleep. Even if it's just a soft "I'm sorry" or a gentle touch, that tiny action could melt walls, open doors, and remind the other person that love is still bigger than pride. What if you had one chance to fix everything before it broke? Would you take it? That's what these quiet hours give you, one chance. And if you let it slip away, you may not get another. Don't fool yourself by saying, "I'll fix it tomorrow." Tomorrow is not guaranteed. What is guaranteed is this moment right now. And in this moment, you hold the power to either heal or to hurt. Ask yourself, what matters more? Winning the argument, listened, or saving the bond that means everything to you? Because in the end, no one remembers who was right. They only remember who chose love when it mattered most. Don't let anger rob you of the peace you deserve tonight. Don't let silence be the last thing you offer the person who once made you smile. Because when the morning comes, regret will be a harder pillow to rest your head on than any fight you've had. So take a breath, soften your tone, and choose connection over conflict. Because your love story deserves more than broken sleep and cold hearts. It deserves healing. Let me show you something real, because this isn't just words. It happens every day. Picture two people in the middle of an argument. Voices raised, pride in the air, and silence afterward that feels colder than ice. One of them turns away, saying, "I'll deal with it tomorrow." But tomorrow doesn't always bring healing. It brings distance. Now, imagine a different scene. They're still upset, still hurt, but before sleep takes over, one of them whispers, "I don't want to end the night like this." Simple words, but powerful. Because in that moment, love speaks louder than anger. And just like that, the wall begins to crack. What do you think happens next? That small act of softness changes everything. The fight doesn't feel as important anymore, because the bond is worth more than the argument. And peace replaces bitterness. Another example. There are people who've gone to bed angry, only to wake up with regret they could never undo, a call that never came, a morning that never arrived. Their last memory together wasn't love, but silence. That's the kind of pain that lingers for a lifetime. So ask yourself, do you want to wake up tomorrow carrying regret or relief? Because the choice is made tonight, not tomorrow. Here's the truth. Every relationship is tested, not by the easy days, but by the nights when anger knocks on the door. What you decide in those hours determines if your bond grows weaker or stronger, and too often people choose silence over softness. But listen carefully. Silence feels safe in the moment, but it slowly eats away at connection. A kind word, even when it feels hard, can heal more than you imagine. And one act of forgiveness before bed can save years of love from breaking. So what's stopping you? Pride? ego, the need to be right. None of those things will hold you in the middle of the night, but love will, forgiveness will, peace will. That's why I'm saying it again. Don't let this night end with anger in your heart, because tonight could be the turning point, if you let it, and the choice is still in your hands. Think about what happens when you go to bed angry. The body may be lying next to someone, but the heart has already turned away. The distance isn't just physical, it's emotional, and slowly, night after night, that gap becomes wider. What begins as a small fight can turn into a wall that keeps love out. Because unresolved anger doesn't vanish, it hardens. And when it hardens, it leaves no room for intimacy, no room for warmth, no room for trust. Now let's be honest. Trust is fragile. It takes years to build. But only a single moment of silence can start to break it. When one person feels ignored, when their pain isn't acknowledged, they begin to wonder, do I even matter to you anymore? And once that thought enters the heart, love starts bleeding slowly, quietly. Do you see how dangerous this is? It's not the loud arguments that ruin love. It's the quiet distance that comes afterward. Because love doesn't die with fire. It dies with coldness. Intimacy is more than closeness of the body. It's safety of the soul. It's knowing you can sleep beside someone without carrying the weight of unspoken anger. But when anger is left at night, that safety disappears. And without safety, love feels uncertain. What if I told you that the strongest couples aren't the ones who never argue, but the ones who never go to sleep without choosing peace? They understand that fights happen, but forgiveness must happen too. So ask yourself this: do you want to wake up tomorrow in a bed of distance, where silence feels heavier than words? Or do you want to wake up knowing you chose connection even when it was hard? Because that choice determines if love lasts for a night or for a lifetime. And here's the truth. Anger might feel powerful in the moment, but love is always stronger. Pride might win the argument, but forgiveness wins the relationship. So before you close your eyes tonight, remember this: don't let anger steal your trust. Don't let silence steal your intimacy. Don't let pride steal your love. Baby, before you drift into sleep with heavy thoughts, I want you to understand something powerful. Anger is not the end of love, unless you allow it to be. It is just an emotion, and emotions can shift, soften, and transform into something better if we choose to face them. What if I told you that sometimes healing doesn't still need 100 words? Sometimes it only needs a single act, a gentle touch on the hand, a whisper of "iced tea, I'm sorry," or even the courage to say, "I don't still want to lose this moment with you." Think about the last time you felt truly safe with someone, not just physically close, but emotionally open. That safety wasn't built on silence. It was built on honesty, forgiveness, and the choice to stay connected even when things felt difficult. So what if, instead of turning away tonight, you turned toward each other? What if instead of protecting your pride, you protected your love? Imagine the difference it would make. Falling asleep, not with distance, but with the comfort of knowing that nothing is left unsaid. Let me tell you why this matters so deeply. The human heart is like a mirror. Every word you speak, every action you take, every silence you allow, it leaves a reflection. When anger stays overnight, the mirror cracks a little, and once too many cracks appear, sometimes it cannot be repaired. But what if you stop that crack tonight? What if you chose to say, "I value us more than this argument"? That choice alone has the power to stop years of future regret. Now, think about the mornings. Waking up after an unresolved fight is heavy. The silence feels louder than words. The distance feels colder than winter. But waking up after reconciliation, that is different. Ritual, when the bed feels warmer, the heart feels lighter, and the love feels alive again. So why risk a cold morning when you can create a warm one? Why allow bitterness to grow when softness is only one step away? And baby, here's another truth. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is not to win the fight, but to reach out first, to hold the hand that's pulling away, to speak the words that feel stuck, to break the silence before it builds a wall. That's not weakness, that's love. Don't you see? The most powerful I love you isn't said when everything is perfect. It's said when things are broken, but you still choose to stay. So tonight, before the lights go out, before silence takes over, before pride convinces you to stay quiet, pause, look at each other, and choose peace, because peace is not just the end of a fight, it is the beginning of forever. Do you know what happens when you carry anger into sleep? It doesn't fade, it grows. It seeps into your dreams, into your rest, and it greets you the next morning with even more weight. That's why tonight matters. That's why this moment matters. That's why this moment matters. If your heart feels heavy right now, ask yourself, do you want to keep this weight tomorrow, or do you want to let it go before your eyes close? That's the question only you can answer. Here's the truth. Every second of silence, every hour of distance, builds a wall that's harder to break. But one gentle word, one quiet touch, can break that wall instantly. Isn't that worth trying tonight? Think about it. Lying in bed, both of you turned away, both waiting for the other to speak first. Hours pass, but neither one makes the move. And tomorrow comes, where anger feels normal, where silence feels easier than love. Do you want that, or do you want closeness again? I'll tell you a secret. Love doesn't need grand speeches. It only needs honesty. Even if all you can say is, I don't want to fight anymore. Those words carry more power than silence ever will. Because the truth is, you may never know if tonight is your last chance to speak from the heart. Life doesn't wait. Tomorrow isn't promised.